feel like a lot of the sort of charm and maybe the uniqueness of this book, as opposed to other travel books, is the fact that I wasn't planning to write a book. You know, I wanted to do the mission. We got the T-shirts, we took the video footage, but I wasn't trying to interview every second goat we met along the way. I wasn't trying to sort of do this sort of like amateur historian meets crappy journalist, find out the secret truth of the nomadic people of Mongolia, or what's happening, you know, all this kind of stuff. Like, you know, which is a different kind of book. And maybe, you know, I'm yet to read the great Mongolian travel book. Maybe that book is out there or will be written any day now. But I think what I managed to capture by accident is, I think, something much more interesting, which is what it's like to be a tourist, what it's like to be, to blather through a foreign landscape in a state of ignorance, and to be constantly not quite sure what's going on, and to not necessarily care that much all the time about what's going on. Which is putting myself out there, you know, it's putting myself, you know, jokingly and not jokingly in the position of the moron, and saying, you know, I went there and I didn't actually find out that much about the Mongolian people. I did a lot of research afterwards, like, you know, many hours on the internet and libraries, finding out all this, you know, incredibly in-depth stuff about Erdnet's largest copper mine and how it was built in 1973 and how it produced this much copper and blah, 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 blah. And I wrote it all in a draft, and then I was just like, it's got to go, you know? The whole thing is that we accidentally rode into the back end of Asia's largest copper mine and was stuck there for hours, and it was a complete headfuck because we didn't know what was going on. And for me, it was like I couldn't have my cake and eat it too. I couldn't be the sort of ignorant tourist having this incredibly visceral experience and then stop and press pause and say, the Erdnet copper mine was founded in 1973 by the Erdenetin Copper Company to provide a need for the Cold War for space exploration, blah, blah, blah. You know, all this very interesting stuff. But the voice that I settled on was too much in the moment, and it was shonky. It was an ignorant sort of, in the moment voice. And I basically made the decision to not go into that sort of extemporizing, discursive voice. Some of the bits I read out tonight are more in that voice, but there isn't actually a heck of a lot of that in the book. It's more about the adventure. You know, I realized what the book was about adventuring. You know, it's not that sort of travel where you travel for months and have, you know, or years, and your life changes and you change as a person. It was more like this sort of like demented Iron Man, you know, extreme sport event that we didn't even really realize, you know, what we were setting ourselves in for. And then it was just like pain and suffering and kind of, this visceral stuff. I see the future of travel writing as moving towards those different ways of thinking about travel. You know, like there's only so many gimmicks, such as Moron to Moron, such as hitchhiking around Ireland with a fridge. There's only so many of those style of gimmicks that we can get excited about. And I think sort of finding new ways to position the idea of travel and living and what culture means in that context is very exciting for all of us writers.